let's talk about a word that, let's be honest, can feel like a total roadblock in your tech career: API. It sounds super complicated, right? But I promise you, in the next 5 minutes, you won't just understand what an API is, you're actually going to use one. For real. You know that feeling when you're in a meeting or reading a job description and someone drops the term API? It feels like a secret code, doesn't it? Like it's intentionally designed to keep you on the outside. And look, in the job market we're all heading into, with AI changing literally everything, you just can't afford to be on the outside looking in anymore.
And I'll be completely upfront with you, I was there. I struggled with it big time. For the longest time, I would just sit in meetings and nod my head, pretending I knew what was going on. It really felt like this giant invisible wall standing between me and the jobs I actually wanted. And every explanation I looked up was just more confusing jargon. So frustrating.
But then, one day, it just clicked. I found this one super simple analogy that made the whole thing just fall into place. It was a total aha moment for me. And that's the little system I'm going to share with you right now, so you can break down that exact same wall starting today. So welcome to the restaurant. Yeah, you heard me. This everyday scenario, this is the secret key to finally understanding how millions of apps talk to each other every single second of every single day. Okay, so picture this. You're sitting at a table in a restaurant. You are the client. You want a burger. Now, way in the back, there's the kitchen. That's the server. It has all the food, all the recipes, it knows how to cook. But you can't just barge into the kitchen and make your own burger, right? You need a go-between. That's the waiter. The waiter is the API. The waiter takes your order, brings it to the kitchen, and then brings the food, the response, back to you. The waiter is that crucial link. And that is exactly what an API is: Application Programming Interface. It's just a fancy name for a messenger that follows a very specific set of rules. It lets your app, the client, ask for stuff from another system, the server, without having to know all the messy details of how that server actually works. You don't need the kitchen's recipes, you just need to talk to the waiter. Now you're probably going to hear the term REST API thrown around. Don't let that scare you. REST is just a popular set of rules for how the waiter should act. And the most important rule is something called statelessness. This is key. The kitchen, the server, completely forgets about you after every single order. The waiter has no memory that you ordered a burger 5 minutes ago. Every single time you make a request, it's like you're a brand new customer. So how do these messengers, these waiters, actually talk? Well, they use the exact same language that powers the entire internet: HTTP. Seriously, when you type a website into your browser, you're making an HTTP request. An API does the exact same thing. It's just asking for data instead of a web page. Your order to the API uses a specific verb or method to say what you want. And it's way simpler than it sounds. There are really only 4 main things you can do. You can create data, read it, update it, or delete it. People call it CRUD. So a POST request creates something new, while a GET request is just you asking to read or see something that's already there. Okay, here's a pro tip that trips up a ton of people when they're starting out. Both put and patch are used to update things, but they are not the same. Put replaces the entire thing. So if you're trying to update a user's name and you use put, you might accidentally wipe out their email address. Patch is way smarter. It only changes the specific little bits of information you tell it to. So after you send your order, the kitchen, the server, sends something back. And part of that is a little 3-digit status code. It's the server telling you what happened. And it's super easy to remember. If the number starts with a 2, like 200, everything's great. Success. If it starts with a 4, like 404 not found, that's a client error. That means you made a mistake. Your fault. But if it starts with a 5, that's a server error. They made a mistake. So, not you, them. Okay, so the API brings back your food, your response. But what does that data actually look like? Well, most of the time, it's written in a really simple format called JSON. JSON stands for JavaScript Object Notation, but don't even worry about that name. All you gotta know is that it's a super simple text-based way to organize data so it's easy for us humans to read and also really easy for computers to understand. It's the best of both worlds. And this is it. This is what JSON looks like. See? It's just pairs of keys and values. You've got a key, like name, and its value, Alice Johnson, and you can have different types of data, right? You've got a number for the ID, text for the name and email, and a simple true or false for active. It's clean, it's organized, and it's not scary at all. All right, that is enough theory. You know the best way to really get something is to just do it. So right now, you and me, we're gonna make your very first live API call. Okay, I want you to actually do this with me. Go ahead and pause if you need to, open up a new tab in your web browser, and type in this URL, jsonplaceholder.typeco.com/users/1. This is a totally free public API that's just for practicing. You're about to ask it for some data.
Ready? Hit enter, and boom! You should see that JSON response right there in your browser. That's all the data for user number 1. Now for the cool part. Go back up to the URL and change that 1 at the very end to a 2. Hit enter again. See that? The data changed. You just told the API to get a different user. You are literally using an API right now.
And that's it. You did it. That feeling of confusion, maybe that little bit of intimidation you had just a few minutes ago, it's gone. You just successfully requested data from a server using an API. That's a huge, huge step.
So here's the real takeaway. An API isn't some secret, complicated code. It's a waiter. It just takes requests and brings back data in a simple format called JSON. And by getting this, you now speak a fundamental language of technology. This is the skill that gives you the confidence to actually join in on those technical conversations, to understand how the apps on your phone really work, and to make yourself stand out in a really competitive job market.
You've broken through that wall. You've gone from confused to capable. You've seen the system and you've gotten the result. So the only question left is, now that you have this new skill, what are you going to do with it? What comes next?